Hello, my name is Joshua Malik. This presentation is about answering 5 job-related questions to qualify for a technical program director post. I hope you enjoy this presentation and thank you in advance for your time. So let's look at the agenda. I will talk a little bit about myself, a briefing about myself, then provide the answers for the questions. The first question is about to give an example of a product I brought to the market. The second is about the 3 most disruptive trends in enterprise software technology. And the third is I'm going to talk about bringing the best in a code coverage analysis tool. The fourth is regarding ensuring enterprise-wide consistency. And the fifth is providing best practice in product roadmap development. So let's start. A little briefing about myself. I'm an enthusiastic and goal-focused professional with 25 years of diversified expertise in the provision of information technology and business development, with keen focus on enterprise management, infrastructure solutions, program and project management, among others, of course. I hold a bachelor degree in computer science from MUC Baghdad, Iraq since 1994. And among those long years of experience, I assumed the roles and responsibilities of a product owner and technology owner for more than 15 years at several stages during my career path through different posts like project manager, technical delivery manager, pre-sales manager, technologist, and CTO. Above all, I'm an easygoing person. This is what they say about me. Yet I become very picky when it comes to the quality of the deliverables and very rigid when it comes to deadlines. So I put my signature on that so you can come after me if I'm not. Okay? Now I'm going to answer the first question, which is about to give an example of a product I brought to the market. The product I'm going to choose is my recent product, Midflow Enterprise Integration. Midflow was a collection of libraries developed over time by H&H Technology, a Canadian company, each for specific integration or automation purpose. In 2014, in a collaboration effort with H&H Technology, we took those libs and started to build a framework for enterprise integration middleware. We first released Midflow as a set of integration toolset. Then the whole product was re-engineered around service-oriented architecture, creating a process-driven enterprise integration middleware. That was in almost late 2015. It runs now on JBoss, Enterprise Application Server, and uses JBoss Business Process Manager or Management Module, which is BPM, and ActiveMQ messaging, of course. Prime faces on Mojara JSF, that is for the user interface. Hibernate, MySQL for repository and cache. As long as there's a variety of systems or incompatible systems, every business runs. So integration and process automation is always a demand. But what is most important thing is just to have a process-driven integration. And this is what this Midflow is about. Okay. So key differentiators of it, technical differentiators, one of them is the asynchronous operation. Midflow is built in a way that is in a distributed environment, so regardless what type of connections that you have, your business will still work. So connection is just like a store and forward, something like that, in caching feature, because we use it in an environment where there were almost people are still using dial-ups. So imagine that. The second one is service reuse is one of the features that we elaborated on of service-oriented architecture were that existing software modules, we use existing software modules rather than rewriting new ones. And the third one is complex event processing, where actions can be taken when a pattern of events is recognized, not only in response to an individual event. Just to give you an idea of Midflow, this is Midflow's architecture. As a developer model with agile, feature-driven development, scrums, sprints, and iterations for rapid delivery. The development team is relatively a small one system architect, two developers, one user experience designer, and one user interface developer, two quality assurance engineers for regression and unit testing. Now, an answer for the second question, which is about the three most disruptive trends in enterprise software technology. The first one is analytics. Now, businesses are getting infused with technology, which they weren't infused with before, because technology is throwing a lot of information, a massive amount of information of different forms. And now analytics can look beyond the transactional data being collected, as it does that through contextual analytics, which combine text and advanced analytics with machine learning to uncover insights from a mix of structured and unstructured data. Such insights would have never been uncovered to the business if they're still running the traditional way. So now they need to invest in analytics because this will allow them to analyze things they could never analyze before. As for enterprise software vendors, from the other hand, they must make use of such massive amount of digital information and start creating tools like business intelligence tools that will attract a surge of interest from business. The second one is acceleration. Yes, the acceleration in how business is conducted is having a profound effect on software. Therefore, speed will be also a disruptive influence on business. Transactions need to be processed automatically and rapidly through a customer-facing application. If they are not, customers will take their business somewhere else. So business processes now need to be broken down into microprocesses that can be assembled on the fly to accommodate the assortment of connected devices customers use to engage in commerce. As a result, the traditional dividing line between front-end and back-end applications will disappear, and the idea of end-to-end dynamic supply chain applications delivered as software as a service will gain prominence, and that is where enterprise software vendors should focus on. The third one is agility. Yes, to cope with acceleration of business, software development has to become more agile. Developers must do sprints in 2 or 3 weeks cycle rather than an 18 to 24 months waterfall project where they have to wait for everything to be finished before a service is launched. So, enterprise software vendors must shift from waterfall to agile, otherwise they're going to fall behind. Customers aren't going to wait for 2 or 3 years for an upgrade. Now we'll answer the third question in summary is to bring the best in a code coverage analysis tool. After a small research with the help of Google Trend, I found the following 3 tools are the most popular tools in the code coverage analysis space. The research was mainly based on the instrumentation method they use, the source code matrices, and the supported languages, integration with IDEs, test frameworks, and build tools, etc. So here is the list. I'm not going to, it's for you to look at. However, you'll notice that there are a lot of common features among these tools, and yet everyone has one or two key differentiation features, like, for example, the instrumentation method. And all of them lack some features that which I will use in my product. So what I'm going to do, I'll combine those common features and focus on what they lack. So first, I will support a wider range of development environments and languages. Why is that? Due to the changing nature of current systems, many projects use different development environments. Since the code needs to run on different locations, whether on a server side, on a desktop, on a mobile device, or on an Internet of Things, etc. Therefore, the need to analyze code coverage the same way on those different environments, regardless of the programming language we use, will save a lot of time and money. The second thing that I will support all relevant instrumentation methods for code coverage to take advantage of all their strengths. The third one, I will include modified condition decision coverage because it's not in any of them, and I will use multiple condition coverage. This one is in fact ensures the code quality, and I will consider mutation testing in my roadmap because the way it works, because mutation testing actually it uncovers or brings to the developers' attention a whole new kind of errors and actually detects hidden defects which might be impossible to uncover or detect using traditional ways. And as we know that code coverage analysis is a time-consuming and repetitive process, so we'll add automation as well, automated analysis for that. But this requires more focus on artificial intelligence, AI. But this will become more relevant when I include modified condition decision coverage, which is MCDC and MCC and mutation testing. The fourth question is about how to ensure enterprise-wide consistency among product managers coming from different cultures. I'm sure the main driver for the acquisition is the integration among those products, why those products were acquired. And I would assume that the integration due diligence has already been taken care of, and the integration has already been budgeted for during or before the acquisition. And because those product managers come from different companies, each one of them has a set of differences imposed at him by the company he used to work for, such as company-specific strategy, development tools and environments, hardware and software compatibility issues, reporting structure, etc. Such differences, if brought in, will definitely create isolated islands and would make it almost impossible to achieve the acquisition vision. Therefore, the first thing to do is to define common grounds. In order for all product managers to work together the same way, we need to define a common platform for software development and teams collaboration And then at this stage, we'll set up a consolidation group of system architects and stakeholders for every product to help us verify what is available and what is dispensable and what can be used and what is ready to be sent to the market. This will help us create a modularized solution architecture where each product will be as a plug-in module and define a common strategy and common grounds for software development. The second one is to plan, do an integration plan. We'll spend most of our time in this phase identifying which data is important, which systems to keep, and how much integration is actually needed so that the products which were once of an external company can technically fit in. And the third one is, of course, the last one I would say is to start building the roadmap. After all those steps, we now start building the roadmap, taking into considerations the company's vision and sales goals set during the acquisition of each product. Now the fifth question and the last question is to put best practice in product roadmap development. I will use an agile approach. This approach was inspired from Roman's Pichler goal-focused agile roadmap. Actually, I used this approach in my recent product roadmap, in fact. The first thing to do, whether we are building a roadmap for a new product or updating a roadmap for an existing product, is to revisit the product strategy, because product strategy will give us insights about how close we are from achieving the business goals. Where we revisit the product map, the product strategy at every release cycle, setting with development teams, stakeholders, sales and marketing teams, and monitor and measure the goals and answer the questions about the product life cycle stages or events. Was the product launch successful, for example, or has our product achieved the product market fit, or can we sustain product growth, or has our product reached a strategic inflection point and needs to be revitalized or taken to a new market? Then adjust the product strategy accordingly. Then after that is we validate the product strategy. Before we go ahead and start creating or updating the product roadmap and decide how strategy is best implemented, we need to describe and validate the product strategy as it is the path to realize our vision. We can use Roman Bichler's product vision board, or we can create our own. It's just a simple one. This board captures the vision, the target group, the problem to be solved, or the benefit to be provided, the key features of the product, and the business goals. This will help us build a realistic roadmap. After that, what we do, we prioritize the goals. After validating product strategy, we start prioritizing business goals based on which goals comes first that would achieve the goals of the next stage of the product life cycle. Then put them into the product map as versions and version release estimates or timeframes. The third one, which is the actual build, like we start now building or updating the roadmap. Here we'll use a goal-driven roadmap. The first thing that we do is just answer a process. Like we need to identify the release goals and benefits, where we focus on goals rather than features, like increasing product usability or acquiring new customers, etc. And also here we can use Roman Bichler's the Go product roadmap template. It's free to use, or we can create similar one. It's just simple. Here we can record the release date or time frame, the name of the major release, high-level features necessary to meet the goal, and the goal itself, the matrices to determine if the goal has been met. After identifying the release goals and benefits, now we start deciding on determining the cost top-down. Then we carry this iteration with the development team to determine whether enough people with the right expertise are available, or do we need to hire or contract new people. This will give us an understanding of the labor cost. Then we add the cost of facilities, infrastructure, materials, licenses, and other relevant items. Now, if the cost is within the budget, what we do now, we go schedule, we schedule the development and start the design and development and test until the release. If it is not, then what we do now, we calculate the risk and build a risk mitigation plan and request for a budget increase. If the new budget has been approved, then we go ahead, schedule the development, update the product roadmap with the new schedule date, with the new release date, our estimated release date, and then through design and the development and test until release. Now, if the budget has not been approved, then we need to execute the risk mitigation and update the roadmap. What I mean by executing, this could be like removing some features that would probably the features that are not that very much affecting a goal, and probably reschedule them to another release. And of course, after that, we review and adjust. Again, this is an iteration, because after we do that, we review again the product strategy and adjust the roadmap. And because we're working on an agile environment, so change is likely to happen. And depending on how young our product is, the review and update cycle could be between every 4 weeks to every 3 months. And then we iterate this for every release cycle. I believe this is the best practice for a world-class roadmap development. Well, we have reached to the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any question or concern, please drop me a line at george.shimali@outlook.com. See you next time with a new challenge. Bye bye.